is Wednesday, February 5th. Good morning. This is Mervin Hanley with THG News Today, right here on THG Network. I trust that you had yourselves a wonderful night's rest. The news, of course, is powered by Carl & Sons Unique Bakery on the island of St. Martin, with 3 locations on that island, in Cold Bay at the St. Martin's Medical Center and on the Pontville. If this is your first time visiting us here on THG Network, we always ask our first-time viewers and listeners to please subscribe to our YouTube's channel. And if you have not done so already, this is your moment to do so, and we thank you in advance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to the news. Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, has pointed to what he says are uneven benefits of integration within CARICOM, saying that some nations prioritize their own economic advantages while neglecting the needs of smaller member states such as Antigua and Barbuda. Speaking on local radio, Brown highlighted the disparity in trade benefits among CARICOM nations, emphasizing that while some countries such as Trinidad and Tobago have reaped substantial economic rewards from regional trade agreements, smaller nations have largely become consumer markets with limited production capacity. He argued that this imbalance undermines the intended spirit of CARICOM's economic cooperation. There are those within the integration movement who take a brutal approach, especially saying there are winners and losers, Brown said. Some of the larger economies benefit immensely, while smaller states like Antigua and Barbuda are left primarily as consumer markets without sufficient production to balance the trade equation. The Prime Minister also said that there is a reluctance of certain CARICOM nations to contribute to the Caribbean Development Fund, CDF, which was established to support disadvantaged member states by providing financial assistance to build economic capacity and mitigate trade imbalances. According to the Prime Minister, some countries that benefit the most from CARICOM trade agreements have failed to uphold their commitments to the fund, leaving smaller economies struggling to compete. We have the CDF, which was designed to smooth out these trade differentials, but some CARICOM nations have been hesitant to contribute adequately, Brown said. This lack of commitment to equitable economic development only deepens the divide between the more industrialized and less developed member states. The Antigua and Barbuda leader also warned that if these disparities persist, they could weaken the foundations of regional cooperation. He called for a more collaborative approach where all CARICOM nations actively support economic balancing measures to ensure that the smaller economies are not marginalized. We now turn to news from St. Kitts and Nevis. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, has issued a clarion call for bold action and decisive implementation in the region's transition to sustainable energy. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Third Council of OECS Energy Ministers meeting held in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Drew emphasized the critical need for energy security, investment in renewable resources, and regional integration to drive economic transformation. Delivering a powerful address under the theme Sustainable Energy, Creating Opportunities for Reinventing the Economy of the OECS, the Prime Minister made it clear that energy is not just a sector, but an economic enabler, one that can redefine the trajectory of the OECS nations. Energy security is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Reducing our dependence on imported energy sources is an economic imperative that will stabilize costs, protect our economies from external shocks, and provide affordable, reliable electricity for our people. Dr. Drew highlighted the urgent need to move beyond the discussions and into full-scale implementation of renewable energy projects, stressing that financing remains one of the biggest challenges. He called for increased access to concessional financing, public-private partnerships, and innovative funding mechanisms, such as green bonds and blended finance models to accelerate progress. The road to economic resilience in the OECS is paved with clean energy solutions. A robust green energy sector presents boundless opportunities for job creation, investment attraction, and technological advancement, the Prime Minister said. He also pointed out regional integration as a game changer, advocating for collaborative projects such as interconnection grids and submarine energy cables to facilitate electricity trade between OECS nations. He encouraged member states to adopt successful models such as geothermal advancements in Guadeloupe and Martinique, and to expand initiatives like the Eastern Caribbean Solar Challenge to boost solar energy adoption. This meeting must not just be another conversation. It must be a platform for decisive action. Our citizens are looking to us to deliver on the promise of a sustainable energy future. Prime Minister Drew reaffirmed the unwavering commitment of St. Kitts and Nevis to regional energy collaboration, stressing that with strong leadership, policy direction, and strategic action, the OECS can achieve energy independence and long-term economic resilience. Now news from Antigua and Barbuda. The court will decide whether Alexta Francis, who admitted to murdering MP Asot Michael, will stand a trial in the High Court. We will learn more about that today. Francis, 26, remains in maximum security prison after confessing to the November 5th killing. Michael's maids found his body in a pool of blood with multiple stab wounds. A family insider described the attack, according to the Antigua newsroom, as brutal, with part of the weapon embedded in his body and his teeth knocked out. Reports indicate Francis and his mother have received death threats, raising security concerns for the hearing. Scotland Yard is assisting the investigations. Michael's murder is unprecedented in Antigua and Barbuda, as he was a sitting member of parliament. If convicted, Francis could face life imprisonment or the death penalty. We now move to news from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Amid the United States crackdown on illegal immigrants, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has expressed concern that Washington does not supply the country to which it deports people with information about the deportees' criminal background and other history. Speaking on the state-owned NBC radio, Dr. Gonsalves said his administration is yet to receive any information from the United States regarding plans to deport Vincentian nationals. He, however, noted a document circulating on the internet purportedly from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE states that as of November 24, 2024, there were 1.4 million non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket with final orders of removal. The list includes 127 Vincentians. We have heard the announcements by the new administration of President Trump, and we have seen things circulating coming from different sources that 100 and something people from St. Vincent and the Grenadines are going to be sent home and so on. We have not received anything formal about that, Gonsalves told radio listeners. The Prime Minister noted that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a small country, adding, could you imagine if you send home to St. Vincent 50 persons who are criminally minded, or in some cases might be psychopaths? Dr. Gonsalves anticipates that the deportation of CARICOM nationals will be discussed at the upcoming summit of regional leaders in Barbados from February 19 through 21st. The meeting will be attended by the UN General Secretary. And finally, in our news this morning, in a recent directive of the United States Virgin Islands government, Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has instructed all government employees, including those in the Department of Education and local law enforcement, not to cooperate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE operations within the territory. This guidance from an official letter from the Office of the Governor comes in response to what Mr. Bryan says are reports of ICE agents approaching residents, including at public schools. The governor's directive, issued on January 29th, states that immigration enforcement is a function of the federal government and should not be assisted by local authorities. The governor's office emphasized that all government-managed spaces, including schools, should be areas of safety and stability, regardless of residents' immigration status. The directive outlines specific instructions for schools and law enforcement personnel in the territory. Schools should not allow ICE agents to enter a school building unless they present a warrant signed by a judicial officer. Administrative warrants are not sufficient to permit entry into non-public spaces. ICE agents are prohibited from speaking with students without parental consent, and school personnel must not disclose immigration-related information without a judicial order or a subpoena. Any ICE presence on or near school grounds must be reported to superiors, and the Commissioner of Education must immediately notify the Attorney General of any ICE activity. Local law enforcement officers are directed not to aid ICE agents in immigration enforcement efforts, as their responsibility is to protect residents and enforce territorial laws. As Virgin Islanders, we celebrate our community's diversity, and we will continue to protect the rights of all of our residents, Governor Bryan stated in the directive. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've just concluded THG News Today with Mervin Hanley. The news, of course, was powered by Carl & Sons Unique Bakery on the island of St. Martin. Do join us again on Friday morning, God's willing, for a similar presentation. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Sons for simply the best. There are 2 locations, Colbay and on the Punfill. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feaser's, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feaser's, located at the entrance to the Cotton Gillery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They are also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.